Chunk knew he wasn't supposed to go to old Jim's house. Jim's carer Becky had told him to go home that morning. She knew that Jim's son didn't like cats. But cats can't be told, and Chunk liked old Jim, even though he'd forgotten Chunk's name long ago. Jim scratched him behind the ears, just right. Chunk knew Jim saw things that weren't really there. Jim would gaze out of the window sometimes and smile and wave and call out to his mum. Chunk knew he wasn't supposed to be there. Jim's son would often shoo him away. But these days, he looked so sad. Chunk watched at the window as Jim's son tried hard to sound cheerful. "Want a cuppa, Dad?" Chunk watched Jim stare. He smiled and suddenly called out in surprise, "Bill, you came back!" But Jim's son was upset. "Dad, Uncle Bill isn't here. I've told you before." Jim became cross. He did that a lot these days. "He was just there." Okay, Dad, it's all right." Chunk watched as Jim's son left the room. And Jim looked so sad, so confused. Chunk jumped onto the windowsill, and Jim smiled down. "Hello." "Hey, Nibs, where have you been? You been chasing birds again?" "Mum won't like it." But Chunk didn't mind being called Nibs. Jim's lap was warm. He curled up for a neck rub as Jim began to sing, "You Are My Sunshine." And Jim's son didn't shout, "Shoot, out," this time. Instead, he gently touched his dad's shoulder, and when Jim looked up and said, "Look, Nibs is here," Jim's son replied, "Yes, Dad. Yes, he is." And he hummed along with Jim. And later, Chunk wasn't chased out. Instead, Jim's son gave him a saucer of milk and let him out of the back door. "Good boy, Chunk," he said softly. "Hey, come back tomorrow, yeah?" And Chunk did.